What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the video. So today I figured I would sit down and I would talk about sort of my thoughts about the whole Kingdom Hearts 3 situation and what it's really done to the community as a whole. Obviously, over the past 5 years, the anticipation for Kingdom Hearts 3 was building and it was boiling, and there was so much hype, there was so much anticipation, and everybody was just hoping and praying that the game would be what they wanted it to be. And you know, it was one of the most wild rides that I personally have ever been on, and I was so excited, and it was just amazing to really be a part of it. Every time we got some news, every time we saw a new trailer, every time we got even just screenshots, you know, the community would explode and we'd be overjoyed. And overall, a lot of people just, it was just a magical time. And, you know, as much frustration and patience and time that it took for the game to eventually come out, there were a lot of times where it did at the same time bring the community together as a whole. And it really made us just feel, you know, like we're all in this together. We're all waiting for the game to come out. And along the ride, I mean, I've also met so many different people, you know, whether that be online or through YouTube or just, you know, honestly in real life, just, you know, like I've met some people just hanging out at like bars or concerts or just in friend groups where we've bonded over Kingdom Hearts. And especially before Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, we would talk about the game every time we would hang out, every time we would get together, you know, talk about the latest information. And it really did feel like Kingdom Hearts 3 was, you know, bringing everybody together, and it was making the community even bigger and stronger than it was before. However, after the game came out, I feel like a lot of people sort of were split. There's, you know, the community overall, I feel like was definitely divided between the people that thought this was definitely the greatest game that I've ever played in my entire life. And then there's the part of the community that people thought, well, you know, this game was garbage and it was not worth the wait and it was a total waste of time. Now, I'm sure that you could argue that there's a bunch of different subgroups, there's a bunch of different people that feel differently, but overall, to simplify it, there's people, obviously, that loved the game, and then there's people that hated the game, and that is totally fine. The thing about video games and just life in general is that people are allowed to have opinions, and people are allowed to feel the way that they want, and you know what? There's nothing you can do about it. And I think an issue with the world that we live in today is we have social media. We have ways to communicate way more than we did, you know, 20, 30, 40 years ago. People, it's very easy for people to get their ideas and their thoughts out there for other people to see. And with that, thoughts on things like television shows, current events, politics, literally anything, video games, you know, this is where I'm going. People are so vocal and they're so malicious and they're so, and I guess I could just say passionate about the way they feel about certain things. And it's kind of, it puts us in this weird position where people feel like their thoughts and their opinions are fact, and that plays into a lot of subjective things, such as how people feel about specific things, in this case, a video game. Here we are about 2 months after the game's release, and people are still sort of acting the same way. It's very, this game was the best thing I've ever played, how dare you hate it, there were so many things that were done right, and then there's a bunch of people who hated it. They're like, the combat was garbage, it was too easy, it didn't end the way I wanted it to, and you know, but then that's the thing though, you know, it's still going on, there's still this debate, there's still this split within the community, and I mean, who am I to really say it? You know, I'm a smaller YouTuber, I've recently been sort of getting traction with my channel and stuff, so this is sort of just me riffing and just sort of, you know, trying to get this off my chest. The amount of love and the amount of passion and the amount of drive that I saw throughout Kingdom Hearts 3's, you know, hype cycle is something that I will never forget. It's something that, you know, I really, again, it felt like, you know, the Kingdom Hearts community was a family and we were all together and we were all in on this, and it was just a really magical feeling, and it was really inspiring that, you know, again, we were all in this together. Since we're living in a post-Kingdom Hearts 3 world, you know, the game's out, people have their thoughts and people have their feelings about, you know, what Kingdom Hearts 3 did for the franchise and where it's potentially going to go from here. And everybody's allowed to have their opinions. Everybody's allowed to think and do whatever they want to do. Again, that's not what I'm criticizing. The thing that I'm trying to talk about is people are just at each other's throats still. You know, we're out of the honeymoon phase. We're in this weird world where we should be going back to that feeling of, oh my god, where's the story going to go now? What's going to happen? This is great. And instead, I mean, I think it's just people's expectations, or maybe some things that were done incorrectly throughout the game are sort of clouding people's judgment, and you know, it's kind of just a sour feeling, and I don't really know how else to explain it. I'm not saying that I have anything against the community. I'm not saying I'm unhappy with the community. It's more so that I just sort of feel bad that, you know, people are just still going at each other, and people are still saying, this game was trash. No, it was perfect. No, it was trash. No, it was perfect. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? And again, I'm not trying to say that you have to think the game is perfect. I'm not saying that you have to think the game sucked. What I'm trying to say is you can't change other people's minds about how you felt about the game. If you put out your thoughts on the internet and you're like, hey, this is how I feel, then that's great. Good for you. It doesn't really affect me personally. Maybe it's just because I'm somebody that's looking, you know, through it as just, okay, that's someone that liked the game, or that's someone that hated the game. I think that if you constructively criticize the game, or if you have valid points as to why you thought the game was great or why you thought the game was bad, that's fine. But just saying this game was trash, this game was awful, or this game was perfect, please don't criticize my game. You know, that's where the toxicity comes, and that's where I'm sort of feeling the split from, you know what I mean? And again, this could be just because there's not really anything to look forward to except for DLC. You know, I mean, DLC is going to be what it's going to be. You know, we're going to get critical mode, and then down the line, we're going to get, I think it's some sort of like story expansion, some more super bosses, just other content in the game in general, and that's fine, and that's great, but doesn't have that same excitement and that same hype as, you know, waiting for another main installment to the game series. So perhaps that's what we need. Maybe we need to wait for that to happen. Maybe that's when I'll feel like this community is a lot less divided, we're a lot less vocal. Again, I'm not trying to criticize anybody. Again, I don't care if you hated the game. I don't care if you loved the game. For me personally, I'm someone that was, you know, I personally did love the game, and I don't care if people hate it, because 99 out of 100 times, I will agree with somebody's criticisms on the game. Like, I have no problem with you criticizing the game or disliking something, and I also don't have a problem if you thought something that even I just didn't like, you thought was perfect. That's totally fine. And again, it's subjective. It's a video game, you know. There are obviously factors that make a game objectively bad, but what it really boils down to is people have their own opinions, and that's the way it is. I'm fine with people saying they hate the game, but when you try to convince me and tell me that this game was bad because you thought the game was bad, that's when I don't want to listen to you. Or again, if you try to tell me that you think the game is good and you're trying to make me feel like this game was perfect, it's the same effect. I don't care. I have my opinions. You're not going to change my mind. And I feel like that's just, it goes so far beyond just this community in general. That's just the way the world works at this point. You know, everybody's trying to change everybody's mind. And I think that's what ruins a lot of things for a lot of different people. Look, all in all, this video was basically just a message to the Kingdom Hearts community. Let's try to not be like the rest of the world. Let's try to respect one another. Let's try to, you know, understand that some people just had different experiences for the game, and they had different expectations or the lack thereof. It's, again, I feel like it's definitely gotten better. It's getting better. I'm not saying it's better, but it's getting better. And I'm seeing a lot less negativity, whether that be, you know, gloating about the game or totally just taking a dump on it. I just think that once the next game comes out, or once we get the next tease for the next game, or maybe even just the DLC is so mind-blowing that, you know, we forget about all the flaws or all, you know, everything in the past. But what I'm trying to say is, let's just try to respect one another and remember that Kingdom Hearts is one of the most magical franchises of all time, and for me personally, it's my favorite video game series of all time. And just seeing the community, the people I should be socializing with, and the people that I should be, you know, talking about the game and sharing the love for, are just at each other's throats. And again, I do think it is getting better, but, you know, there is still a long way, and, you know, that's just sort of all I have to say about it. However, guys, that is the end of the video. I'm sorry that if this seemed a little scatterbrained and it was a little disorganized. I just wanted to vent, and I just want to sort of talk about this, because it is something that I have been thinking about, and it is something that I've been sort of waiting on. Maybe it would die down, but it is still something that I think is very, it's very there in the community. You know, it's very in your face. You know, there are people still at each other's throats. People are still talking about it. People are trying to shove their opinions down each other's throats, and it just, it's exhausting. You know, why can't we all just get along and enjoy the game, or, you know, just love the series in general? Anyways, you know, let me know down below if you guys have noticed this. Let me know if you think there needs to be a change. You know, again, it doesn't matter if you love the game or if you hated the game. I just want people to stop being so negative towards each other. So yeah, don't forget to let me know all that down below. Don't forget to like the video. Most importantly, subscribe to my channel for more Kingdom Hearts content. And until the next one, guys, thank you so much again for watching, and I will catch you later. Bye-bye.